I'm Nyesha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Could we just have a moment of silence in memory of Trude Mero? I talked to Jeffrey Johnson a few minutes ago, and I said, Jeffrey, I was thinking about moving you to last. He said, John, do me a favor. Put me first so I can get this over with. On behalf of the family, Jeffrey Johnson is going to make some remarks. Jeffrey, come on up and make some remarks right now.
On behalf of the Johnson family, obviously I came here to thank everybody. But there was something I thought of earlier today, and it was I'm not going to say the whole thing. It was a poem that my mother had spoken about and had repeated on quite a few occasions. And actually it was a eulogy, but what it talked about was the dashes from the beginning to end of one's life. Obviously here, looking at everyone that I'm seeing here, my mother had many dashes. She affected a lot of people. She affected us as her family. She affected everyone that's here as friends, some as foes. But she affected us in a way that made us all want to somehow say thanks. My mother had a lot of great dashes, and this dedication alone shows one of, I think, the biggest dashes that she was able to imprint on her community. So on behalf of everybody, I'd like to say thank you for the Johnson Mero family. Thank you all.
Dr. Bruce Douglas is the only person that I know that has a degree from every college in Connecticut. It's unbelievable. Central Connecticut, UConn, Trinity, where else, Doctor? Eastern, whatever. One of the great educators, the CEO of CREC, one of the best friends for education in the greater Hartford, Dr. Bruce Douglas.
We're here for a great moment, okay? And great things are going to happen as a result of this, okay? But we have to persevere. The center is the physical manifestation of CREC's mission and Trude Mero's mission to ensure that all students have access to all the resources available in this region, okay, to live a prosperous and safe life. The selection of this location was intentional. We sought a place that was central to the families we are dedicated to serving. We wanted to create a center that was more accessible to the families and that better accommodated their schedules rather than ours. Although today marks the unveiling of the first physical site of a CREC Family Resource Center, our agency, along with many other agencies like the Y, have provided resources for families throughout the city for many years. We know that our duty is to provide welcoming, safe, and an enriching place that starts the moment a child steps on the school bus, walks into the classroom, or enters the gym at the Y. Students and families rely on the valuable resources that this community and other community centers and the schools provide. CREC and the Y share the same desires for our families and our children. To have quality teachers, to have mentors, to have quality educational resources, tools and places where they can get the support that they need. CREC is collaborating with the Wilson Gray YMCA by contributing CREC staff who will be located here permanently and providing access to our many academic and enrichment programs. These services will enhance the meaningful programs already provided by the Y at the Wilson Gray site. We want to attract every child in this neighborhood to this YMCA. This collaboration exemplifies the kind of relationships that should be formed throughout our region and our state. And these collaborations benefit our children, our children, our children. They benefit our families, and they make both of our agencies stronger. Now that you know the mission, I trust you'll understand why this center will be officially known as the Trude Mero CREC Family Resource Center. Trude Mero was no stranger to community. She was no stranger to fighting, okay, for what was in the best interest of children and families. As a co-founder of Project Concern, now known as the Hartford Region Open Choice Program, she believed in promoting equity through education. And she was right, and she was successful. Trude Mero set an example for all of us. In her honor, we strive to continue to set an example for what is right, and for what we know is right, and for what we know is American. We strive to provide a great resource to the deserving families of this community. I'm humbled to have known Trude and worked with Trude, and I'm proud to be part of an agency that promotes what Trude so diligently worked toward. And now I'm duly honored to be a partner with the YMCA and an agency that has a long history in serving the best interests of children and families. So, today, we are standing on the shoulders of a giant, Trude Mero. So, we cannot fail, but we must prevail. Thank you so much. All right.
You know, this is a very, very exciting time for all of us, especially since our collective goal is to serve the best interests of the children and families in this incredible community. The opening of the Trude Mero Family Resource Center is a reality because there are many carpenters in this room. So let me illustrate what I'm talking about with a story. So once upon a time, there were two brothers who lived on adjoining farms. These two brothers fell into conflict with each other. It was their first serious rift in 40 years of farming side by side, sharing machinery, labor, goods, and services as needed, without a conflict. Then the long collaboration fell apart. It began with a small misunderstanding that grew into a major difference that finally exploded into an exchange of bitter words followed by weeks upon weeks of silence. One morning, there was a knock at the older brother's door. He opened the door to find a carpenter at the door with his toolbox. The carpenter said, "I'm looking for a few days of work, and perhaps you have a few small jobs here on your farm that I could help you out with." The older brother said, "Yes, I do have a job for you." He said, "Look across that creek at that farm. That was my neighbor's farm. In fact, that's my younger brother's farm. Last week there was an open meadow between us, but my brother took his bulldozer to the levee, and now there's a river between us. Well, you know, I think he did that to spite me, but I've got one better for him. So you see that pile of lumber over there by the barn? I want you to build me a fence. I want you to build me an 8-foot fence." And so the carpenter looked at the wood and got a sense of the situation. He says, "I think I know what it is you need. I think I got a handle on the situation. So show me the nails in the post hole digger, and I'll get busy with the job that I know will please you." Well, the older brother had to go to town that day, so he helped the carpenter pull the materials together, and off he went to town. The carpenter worked hard all day long, measuring, sawing, nailing, hammering. And about sunset, when the farmer returned, the carpenter had just finished the job. The farmer, older brother, with his eyes wide open and his jaw dropped, he looked at what the carpenter had built. There was no fence there at all. It was a bridge stretching from one side of the creek to the other. A fine piece of work with handrails and everything. And the neighbor, his younger brother, was coming from the far side. He was coming from the far side with his arms stretched out. And the younger brother said to his older brother, "You are quite a fellow to build this bridge after all I've said and done. The two brothers stood at each end of the bridge, and then they walked toward the middle. And as they reached each other, they shared a warm embrace. They turned to see the carpenter hoist his toolbox on his shoulder. And the older brother said, no, wait, please, stay a few days. I've got some other jobs for you. And the carpenter said, I'd love to stay, but I've got many, many more bridges to build. So that's the story about this collaboration. You know, what we're supposed to do with the resources entrusted to us is we're supposed to be building bridges. And it's through those bridges that allows us to do really, truly meaningful work. And so, who were some of the bridge builders that made this collaboration possible? Well, obviously Trude Mero was the preeminent bridge builder, right? She brought us all here today. But who were some of the other bridge builders? Eric Crawford is a bridge builder. He's a carpenter. I. Charles Matthews is a bridge builder. He's a carpenter. Aurora Alvarado is a bridge builder. She's a carpenter. Clinton Hamilton is a bridge builder. He's a carpenter. Those are the folks, those four people, who were the brainchilds, the visionaries, and the activators that brought these two organizations together, that gave us the opportunity to be here today to celebrate this wonderful family resource center.